Today we're going to be talking about moles and molar mass practice problems. So in the last video, we talked about what moles are and the conversion of molar mass. And today we're just going to be doing some practice questions based on them. If you're interested in more videos like this and want to support the channel, please subscribe, click the like button, and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss any future uploads. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so the first question that we have is, what is the molar mass of magnesium sulfate? Well, we can see here that we have two compounds that we need to consider. One is magnesium and two is the sulfate, or two molecules. So we've got two things that we got to consider. So let's start calculating them one by one. So for magnesium, this is really easy. Just go straight to the periodic table. Now, on the periodic table, you see the atomic mass of magnesium is 24.30. Now, as we covered in the last video, for pure compounds like magnesium and any compounds, the molar mass is the exact same value as the atomic mass units that you see in the periodic table. So for magnesium, we have a value of 24.30 as our molar mass, and I should say it is 24.30 grams. Now for sulfate or SO4, we need to we have three things that we got to consider now. We have S and we have O4. So for S, off the periodic table, you can see that in atomic mass units, it's 32.06. So 32.06. Now we have to add the amount for oxygen. So first we have 4 oxygen molecules. So you have a multiplier of 4. And then in the parentheses, you put the atomic mass units of oxygen, which in this case is the same as the molar mass. So for oxygen, it is on the periodic table 16.00. Now let's try doing the calculation. So that would be 24.30 grams plus 32.06. This would give us 64.00. Now, this is the total amount of grams. So if you would like, pause the video now and try calculating this. But what we do is we just pull out a handy calculator and do 24.30 plus 32.06 plus 64.00. That gives us 120.36. Now, this wouldn't be your exact value because in the next lesson we'll talk about significant figures and how to calculate values in chemistry, but right now it's 120.6 grams molar mass for magnesium SO4. Alright, so that was our first practice problem. Let's do a couple more of these. Now the second one, let's get that up here. Now our second one, find the molar mass of methane, or CH4. Now here we have only two things to consider here as well. We have carbon and we have hydrogen, H4. So off of the periodic table, you can get for carbon that the molar mass is 12.01 grams, and for hydrogen, you can get that it is 4 times 1.008 grams. Now the total molar mass of CH4 equals 12.01 plus 4 times 1.008. So you need to get all of them individually and then add them up. So 12.01 plus 4 times 1.008. That gets us 16.042. And again, remember, this won't be the exact value. In the next lesson, we'll go over significant figures in the upcoming lessons. So for right now, for CH4, the molar mass is 16.042 grams for CH4. All right, and I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's try one more of these Then we are going to try a different kind of problem, some conversions. All right, now we have calculate the molar mass of calcium nitrate. Okay, so now this one is just a teensy bit more complicated. So you have calcium and you have 2NO3. Now this is not too bad. It's really not that bad. So you just need to find the molar mass of calcium first, which off the periodic table is just going to be 40.08. And then the second one is 2 times first the molar mass of nitrogen, which we can see is 14.01. 14.01 plus the molar mass of O3, which is 3 times the molar mass of oxygen, which is 16.00, and the whole thing multiplied by a factor of 2. So, as you can see, it's really not complex. All I did was find the molar mass of nitrogen and of 3 oxygen atoms, added them together, and then I multiplied the entire thing by 2, since we have 2 NO3 particles. Now, to find the molar mass of calcium nitrate, just add everything together. So, 40.08 plus 2 times 14.01 plus 3 times 16.00. Now just add them all together, which is now 164.1 grams for calcium nitrate. And now, I hope that made sense, but now we're going to try some moles to gram and grams to mole conversion problems. All right, let's get the problem up. So now in this problem, we have 2.5 moles of sodium chloride. What is the mass of sodium chloride in grams? Okay, so for this one, we're going to need to do some conversion steps. Now, if you already have an idea of how to approach this, then go ahead and pause the video, give it a go. Then again, unpause the video, and then you can watch me solve it. Or if not, don't worry, I will do the problem now, and I'll explain every step. Okay, so they said that we have 2.5 moles of sodium chloride, and now we need to figure out how many grams of sodium chloride there are from this. Well, we know that we can find the molar mass of sodium chloride for 1 mole of sodium chloride. So for 1 mole of sodium chloride, from the periodic table, we can find that the molar mass of sodium is 22.99, 22.99, plus the molar mass of chlorine, which is 35.45. And I'm going to use a calculator here, but if you add them up, that will be 58.44. So we have 58.44 grams of sodium chloride for 1 mole of sodium chloride. And since the bottom of this expression is equal to this, the units will cancel out, which means that we are left with 2.5 times 58.44 grams of sodium chloride, which will give us 146.1 grams of sodium chloride. That's how to approach this problem. So again, if you didn't get it, rewind the video, and I hope that made sense. Let's move on to the next problem. Okay, here's the next problem. A sample of copper sulfate has 10 grams. How many moles of copper sulfate are in this sample? So now we are given that we have 10.0 grams of CuSO4. Now they're asking us how many moles? How many moles? Now to do this, we use very similar steps as we did before, but it's just you're reversing the conversion a little bit. So let's start writing out what we're given first. So 10.0 grams of CuSO4. Now we need to find how many grams of copper sulfate there are per mole of this compound. So we can go to the periodic table and we can find that the molar mass of copper would be 63.55 plus 4 times 16.00 for the oxygen plus the molar mass of sulfur, which is 32.06. Now that will give us, we just plug and chug into our calculator. That will give us 159.61. That is a big molar mass. So we route out 10 grams of CuSO4. Now let's write out the conversion. So let's write it out. So 10.0 grams of CuSO4 times. Now we need to find how many moles. So for 1 mole of CuSO4, there is 159 grams of this compound. So notice again, for 1 mole, there's 159.61 grams of this compound. And since the units are the same on top and the bottom, this will cancel out, this will cancel out, which means now we have 10.0 times 1 over 159.61 moles of CuSO4, which equals 6.3 times 10 to the negative 2 moles of CuSO4, and that is in scientific notation, but if you want it in the exact decimal form, that would be 0.0626 moles of CuSO4. Notice again, I just rounded this loosely, but later in the upcoming lessons, we'll start talking about significant figures. Okay, now I hope that these problems were of help to you and aided you in some form. If you would like more videos like this, please just subscribe to the channel, click the like button, and share this video and this channel with anyone who you think might find this helpful. That is genuinely the best way to support the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.